everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we are here with Josh Todd of Buckcherry, and I gotta tell you, it feels so great to see bands on a tour bus again after this year and a half of hell. So great to be able to talk with you today. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, yeah, thanks, man. It's been amazing to get back. We've been through a lot. Everybody's been through a lot, and we're super grateful. We got a great new record, Hellbound, dropping June 25th, and the shows have been going off so far. And we're actually heading to Nebraska right now, and we were in Minot, South Dakota or North Dakota last night. So sold out last night, sold out the night before. So it's going really good.
Hell yeah, hell yeah! And with the release of Hellbound, was your original intention just to make a direct continuation from what we heard off of Warpaint from 2019, or were you trying to maybe step into more uncharted territory with Hellbound?
No, we don't ever look back. We just every time we make a new record, we start fresh. And it wasn't really planned. Hellbound. I mean, COVID hit and all of our whole tour got wiped away. We were still touring on the Warpaint record, and so we had to shift gears. We had to kind of talk about like, okay, where are we going to be at when the dust settles? When the dust settles, it's going to be over, close to 2 years since our last record. So we got to make a new record, and so I'm super grateful that that's what we had to do because it gave us something to focus on, during quarantine, which was really challenging. And it was nice to have the record to focus on. And it's got to be, if it's not the best Buckcherry record, it's got to be one of the best. It's really an amazing record. A lot of things came together during that time period, and the songwriting's just great.
Do you feel that maybe the first two singles that you released, the title track Hellbound and So Hot, maybe serve as a good representation of what the whole Hellbound album is going to sound like, or is that just the tip of the iceberg?
I mean, it's a 10-song record, and every song is great. There's a lot of dynamics to the record. I mean, those are some of the fun rock songs, but we have some great mid-tempo songs. We got a great ballad on the record. We got some heavier songs as well. So it's just a good record, from beginning to end. And I can't wait for people to hear it because we've been sitting on it since October of 2020. It's been done.
Yeah. And you said too, because of like the pandemic and everything, was this record like originally not meant to happen in a way? Like, is it fair to, I know it's kind of like a what if question, but like if the pandemic never hit, would we have never been hearing of Hellbound?
Yeah, I mean, if the pandemic didn't hit, we would have definitely finished the Warpaint tour, and who knows where we would be. But I mean, that's not what happened, and we got this great new record, and that's the focus.
Yeah. And having so many albums out now, like, does it get harder to put like a set list together when you're playing live? Because I'm sure you have your diehard Buckcherry fans who want to hear stuff from the self-titled from '99 to Time Bomb to 15 to Black Butterfly and etc.
Yeah, it's really hard. You have your usual suspects, the ones we got to play every night, like Lit Up and Crazy Bitch, and Sorry, those songs. But yeah, we rotate a lot of songs. We're playing a lot of the new songs, which is really cool. And it's challenging, I make up the set every day, kind of contingent on what I'm feeling vocally that I want to, tackle. And so, yeah, we work on it every day.
When it comes to like your songwriting process, do you ever go into the songwriting with a preconceived idea of what you want it to sound like, or is there like a lot of experimentation or trial and error?
It's just about great songs, really. We write a lot of songs for a record to get down to 10 songs. We wrote about 29 songs to get to the 10. And, the cream rises to the top. We want a record that you can put on and leave on, and that's always the goal. And so it just becomes about really great songs and having a well-rounded record, with a lot of dynamics, like I said, and
Are you ever worried that the songs that you leave out of an album are going to be like a B-side one day, just be the biggest hit you guys ever had?
I don't worry about that because I know that if they didn't make the Buckcherry record, that they're not good enough, you know. But you know, we'll see if that ever happens. But it hasn't happened yet. I
Yeah,
doubt it.
that's one of the many things in rock and roll you can lose sleep over, which song to leave out.
Sometimes, you know, but I mean, uh, once you get a body of work together, you know, the good songs really break through, you know. I mean, and then it just becomes kind of maybe squabbling over, you know, the last three or so that to make the record, you know, and it's pretty easy to get down to it.
Yeah. As a vocalist, has there ever been a time where maybe you had lyrics written and that could help influence maybe the sound of a Buckcherry song, or have you always needed a full song before you can lay down any lyrics?
No, it happens all kinds of ways, you know, like there's a song on the record called The Way, and I wrote the whole song with lyrics and melodies with no music. And then I just went in with Stevie. And when that happens, I just say, you know, I go, I got this great song, and it's like a ballad. And you know, I want to hear some piano in it. And he's like, okay. And I go, and I wanted to kind of start in one place and end bombastically with this big ending, you know, and, you know, take you on a journey. And he's like, okay. And then I said, let's get a tempo. And then we get a click track out. We get a tempo. That's a good tempo. And I sing it down. And I said, let's find a key. We find a key that's comfortable with my voice. And then I leave and let him, you know, do his thing. And he writes the music. And then I come back in and bam, we have this amazing new song. And he's added bridge music and an outro. And I just finished the lyrics and melodies, and that song wrote itself really quick, and it's a really amazing song. You know, sometimes it happens that way, and then sometimes they'll just give me verse chorus of a song, you know, on guitar, you know, with drums and bass, and I'll just write lyrics and melodies.
And what's have you ever like though had like the best lyrics ever, but then they're always like one syllable over every arrangement that you hear or something like that? I'd imagine you've had to like chop off that a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that we you know, you can have the song set in your head one way, and then you go in to record it and it just doesn't, it's not popping, you know. And like you were saying, you know, you got to change the melody a little bit, do a little, maybe take some words out, have a little bit more space here or there. And we do all that all the time, change the key of the song, a lot of things, you know, you got to do to try to get it to work, you know. And sometimes it doesn't work. I have to go back and rewrite choruses. And, you know, I mean, I could get specific, but, you know, I've had to rewrite choruses and verses many times. You know, sometimes I'll get a song and I'll write it, and then I think it's great, and then I record it, and it's like the chorus isn't as good as the verse, and you got to go rewrite it.
Yeah. And it's also, you never know how these songs are going to be really received or how they're really going to feel until you play them in a live setting, right? Like, I mean, playing live and songwriting have to be two completely separate energies altogether, right?
It is, but you got to have a great song, you know, because you can't do that. You can't like just go experiment with like your songs before you put them on a record out in front of an audience, you know. um it's pretty we know when a song doesn't feel good, you know. You can tell when you listen to a song if you want to listen to it again, and if you don't, then you got some work to do, you know. So and then sometimes we'll break songs down to just acoustic guitar and vocal to see what we got, you know. That's a really good way to break down a song, to see if you got anything great, you know, because you can throw all kinds of shit on a song and you think it's like great, but you got so much stuff going on, it kind of clutters it up, and you don't know really what it is until you take it all away.
Well, and the other thing is too, I feel like Buckcherry has played with like a variety of different style of bands as well. Like, you know, you've played, you know, when it comes to Buckcherry, it's all about a good time with me. That's all. Like, I always listen to your music or go see your shows just really for the sake of having a great time, which should be the purpose for all music. But like, you know, you've toured with bands like All That Remains and Avenged Sevenfold that, you know, they sometimes tackle, you know, more heavier subject matter. Have you maybe like had to adjust your set list, or maybe adjust the presence at all, or a different vibe depending on the audience you're playing in?
I mean, we definitely have heavier subjects, and we throw those songs into the set, but I can't live in one emotion. I've just never. I'm a human being. I experience all different emotions. So all those different emotions are going to come out in song on records, you know, and that's my favorite rock records had all that. They had mid-tempo songs and ballads and rockers, and that's always going to be what Buckcherry is about. But yeah, at the end of the day, we want to host a party. We want to have a good time, and we want to bring people joy, and you know that's the place we want to live in. Other bands, you know, that's their thing. You know, there's nothing I can say about that.
Yeah. And have you noticed like different reactions to your live set depending on like the bands that you have played with?
Different reactions. Yeah, we've played with all those bands that you talked about. You know, we've been on stage with every different type of rock band you can imagine, and we just stick to our guns. You know, because we've been in front of some really hostile audiences that don't necessarily care for Buckcherry, and we've always won them over. You know, um, so I think that people really respect honesty, you know, with your art, you know, and as long as you're doing that, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, especially like I remember you guys were playing before Godsmack at Incarceration in 2019. That's where I popped the Buck Cherry, as I like to say, for the first time seeing you guys. Um,
Right.
but like playing like you playing with like Motionless in White and Godsmack. I mean those songs. I mean to go from a song like Crazy Bitch to I Stand Alone on the same night. Talk about like contrast and vibes and everything like that.
Yeah, but now I don't think it's too different, you know, because I think people now mostly are they're not listening to one genre of music. They're jumping all over to all different genres of music. I do. I listen to a lot of hip hop and pop, and I like rock. I like all kinds of stuff. I like heavier shit. I like listening to house music with no vocals. You know, I mean, I'm all over the place, and that's the world we live in now. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what's great, and the other thing is with Buckcherry, I've noticed is like you guys are like the perfect bridge between like a classic rock band. Like I feel like you cover every decade in a way, like between like classic rock bands to like more bands like what I like to call octane rock, like bands like Three Days Grace or Shinedown or Breaking Benjamin or along that
Yeah,
lines.
active rock. Yeah.
Yeah, I call it octane rock just because that's how I discovered all of those bands that I just mentioned. But like, it almost
Right.
it almost seems like you're able to not only have a diverse fan base, but almost like attract many different generations as well.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's because when we came out, we were really the black sheep of rock music. Because at the time we came out in '99, and it was like rap rock and you know that kind of shoegaze and rock that you know those Weezer type bands, and we just didn't fit in with anybody, and we still haven't fit in with any kind of mainstream rock for 22 years. It's really bizarre, and we've had this great career. So I don't know what that's all about, but you know, I think Buckcherry is just unique. It's a unique rock band. We're not like uh, breaking the mold or anything. We're just a straight up rock band. But you know, when you hear Buckcherry, you know it's Buckcherry.
Well, I've noticed like there has been like a lot of resurgence of bands like Dirty Honey and Greta Van Fleet and like that have kind of like brought back like the sort of classic rock vibe. But I think you guys were like ultimately like the first band to really do it. Like you were the first rock band to just bring back the rock and roll. Despite what was happening in the world around you, because in the 90s people think of grunge or alternative rock or new metal, and you guys come and you just have your own thing, and I think that's what Buckcherry's all about, doing your own thing.
Absolutely. You know, yeah, it goes back to what I just said before. For sure. Yeah, we were like, we just knew that we just wanted to do what made us happy, you know, and then whatever happened after that, then it's gonna happen. And you know, we got a record deal, and we started getting a career, you know. So I'm proud of that. But it's about hit songs at the end of the day. You know, we had hit songs. We had hit songs on the first record, and then 15 was a big giant record, and you know we've had hit songs on every record. So that's how you get to stay in the game over time.
Absolutely. If you don't mind me asking too, because you mentioned being a rock band for 22 years, and like it, I think it's great that you're always able to be on a grind and always able to continue delivering, album after album. For you, is there like a way that you have to keep it interesting in a way? Like, because, you're not, nobody's the same person for 22 years straight. Has the world's changing or yourself changing influence how you write songs as well?
Of course, I'm growing tremendously from record to record, and as a songwriter, as a human being, everything, everything affects me. That's why I like to start from nothing on every record cycle, because I like to see the growth in me as well, and the band and everything. And we're all getting better, not just me, the whole band, we're becoming better musicians. And so, that being said, that's what we try to focus on, always being students of the game, remaining teachable, and, getting the best songs on these records, to continue to put out great music and have something, to look forward to when we get on stage.
And starting with a clean slate every time, I think, is the right way to do it, because if you're thinking too much, oh, what do we do on Warpaint, or what do we do on these other albums,
You can't chase it. You can't chase it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta stay genuine.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is for that artistic inspiration to come, whether it's writing the lyrics or writing the songs itself, does inspiration, like, do you have to be in a certain place in order to get inspired? Like, do you have a usual studio or a usual place that you have to go into in order to get inspired, or does the inspiration strike out of the blue sometimes?
No, I mean, that's all nonsense as far as I'm concerned. You know, I don't have to do that. It's really passion. If you don't have passion for what you're doing, then it's going to be hard for you. And I have passion for it. So once I flip that switch of like, I'm going to make a record, the floodgates are open. I do a lot of things working up to making a record. I accumulate titles and words and things that I see. I have like a little file for that. And I read a lot of books that enhances my lyric writing and my storytelling. And so I do a lot of things leading up to actually sitting down to write a record. But once I open that door, I don't stop until it's done. And sometimes I'll hit like roadblocks on a chorus here, a verse there, or something's not working in the song and it's frustrating me. But when that happens, I just move on to another song and then go back and revisit it when I have fresh ears again.
Yeah. And I'd imagine too that inspiration or ideas sometimes strike at the most inconvenient times, right?
There's always a song, or maybe a handful of songs in every writing cycle that is just a fucking thorn in your side, but sometimes those songs become really great songs, and sometimes you never even use them. They never even make a record, and you're like, fuck, I labored over this song for a week and it didn't even make the record, so stuff like that.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else with Buckcherry that you would like to promote with the release of Hellbound? Obviously, shows are starting to pick up again. Again, it's such a breath of fresh air. I was getting so sick of interviewing people like in their office or in their bedroom. It feels so great to be able to talk to somebody on a tour bus. I've never been happier to see the internet cut out. But is there just anything else that you would like to promote into, like, we'll be seeing you on the road quite a bit, right? Like the next couple years, you're just going to focus on touring?
Yeah. We're going to be just working as long as, everything's open. We can get to places, and so we'll be working all in the States, and we're going to the UK in November, and then we'll probably be doing international after the first of the year. But right now it's just the United States. We got like 105 shows booked and a lot of work in front of us, and a great new record dropping June 25th, Hellbound, and you can pre-order it right now and go check out the So Hot video and Hellbound video. They're really great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Buckcherry, Hellbound, out June 25th. Pick it up then when supplies last forever. We'll see you next time on New York.
Yes, sir.